Massachusetts were in front of the last incarnation of the trolley barns. And Holyoke had 3 associated with them. This was the one that was built in 1915. It still exists. Holyoke still owns it. It's under the Departments of Public Works nowadays. If you go inside there into one of the bays, you can still see in the concrete at your feet the trail lines for the trolleys. They never took them out of that inside, but they did concrete around them. This building happens to be called the Pelletier Building, and Louis Pelletier was the person that started up the trolley company within Holyoke. It's called the trolley barn because almost all trolley locations where the trolleys stored overnight are called trolley barns. And it's called the Holyoke Street Railway Company, has a name, and it had 8 routes. Now the first trolley barn of all wasn't here, but it was, just to give you a hint, this direction. That's the South Hadley Bridge, the lower one, which is now called the Vietnam Veterans Bridge, used to be called the County Bridge. And the first trolley line actually was in South Hadley, near the current South Hadley Public Library. There was a barn there, owned by Holyoke. There's no electricity yet, and so horses would draw the trolleys along. 2 horses, and the horse barn, the trolley barn for the horses, was over in South Hadley. And the major route was from South Hadley on Canal Street to Holyoke, up this road, and we'll show you the direction. This was a main artery for that first canal. Now, that went away after a mere 7 years and started in the year 1884. By 1891, they were getting their own electrical grid. Amazingly, the city of Holyoke did not have electricity on a citywide basis, but the trolley system had their own electrical grid and had their own electrical power station located very close to where Berkshire Street is, and they made their own power. And that was true for the rest of the trolley company's existence. And then the second trolley barn happened to come in where there's now an environmental chemical company. It's only about 200 yards upwards from us, and that barn lasted from 1891 to 1915, so 24 years. That was wooded, and this is where they came next, from 1915 until they closed down operation in 1938 and started using this as a bus barn, still the Holyoke Street Railway. So the side of this building has above the door it says office, and along on a plaque over here says Pelletier. And this building, being from 1915, is in great shape, still used for administration on the upper floor and the lower floor, but in the back are all the bays. I think there's 8 bays in there. Now, where did the trolleys go? Well, that's a big question. I'll list them all, and then we'll end our discussion. The first trolley was from South Hadley out to Cabot Street, and it turned around there. Now, when it really got going at the peak of 8 trolley lines in Holyoke, the first one went from here to Mountain Park. And Mountain Park is a true trolley park, a park made by the trolley company to bring people out on weekends. And that was a busy line. And that line was extended out there in 1894. And later they extended all the way to the East Hampton border, where the Northampton line took over from there. That's one line. There was a South Hadley line that went upwards towards where the library is. And then later, they built another South Hadley line that went all the way through South Hadley, Granby, into Amherst. And they actually built an Amherst line, and they went up further, too. There was another South Hadley line that went to South Hadley, went to the library, but instead of coming straight over the bridge, it went up to the Fairview section. And that one cut through the woods, went by the St. Anne's Church, and ended up in the Sons of Zion Cemetery. Now, ones in Holyoke, where there's one from here that went to the Willamette Bridge, halfway through Chicopee, and especially the Alderville section, and they met up with the Springfield trolley line. There was another one that went from here to Westville, and they went out to Westville. When they got to the area near the present-day Holyoke Community College, they went into the woods and they met up with the Springfield Trolley line at the Pequot Pond, our trolley park that was run by Springfield. All right. Then there was another one that went along present-day Route 5 in West Springfield, and there they all again met up with the one from Springfield. There was a circuit one called the M1 circuit that would go from here up South Street and then go up to where Laurel Street is, and there was Laurel Park. That was a big stop, and they cut through at a special gap off of Hitchcock Street where there's now houses, and went onto Hillside and came out. There was another one that went from here up to the area of Jones Point Park. It stayed on Pleasant Street, but it was for people to get off at Jones Point Park. So there's 8 lines overall, very busy system. 1938, what put them out of business was not the buses, it was the cars, because so many people were buying cars and there's no need for trolleys. Anyways, they took out the lines and used it for the war effort to build ships. So thank you for coming here.